First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Kawat Zabad coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, The Weapons of Our Warfare Are Not Carnal. If you heard the latest Hebrew Israelite news within the past week, you have some of these brothers out here who came up with a thing called the Hebrew Defense Unit. They know they're Hebrew Israelites, but they think they can fight Esau, okay, the wicked, the devil, our adversary, so-called white man, with guns. And if you don't recognize, Esau's blessing is the sword. In today's modern terms, that means guns, weapons, all types of weaponry. So he's a master at weapons. He's a master at the wilderness, being in the wild. So you're not going to defeat the devil with his own weapons. You see, you can't beat the devil with his own weapons. And the devil I'm speaking of is Esau, the white man. All right, our adversary. You can't beat him with his own weapons. He's a master of those weapons. So this Hebrew Defense Unit is something that's gonna, it's gonna be in vain. They're gonna get themselves killed. That's why the lesson is entitled, The Weapons of Our Warfare Are Not Carnal. They're spiritual. So we have to defend and have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that he's going to be with us in these last days that are coming upon us pretty quick. And as you know, there's going to be a thing called Jacob's trouble, spoken about in Daniel, I believe chapter 12, and Jeremiah 30. And during that time, of course, it's going to be the implementation of the MOTB spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. They're going to try to convince primarily the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans scattered about the whole world, to take this MOTB, better known as the RFID chip, radio frequency identification device, in your forehead or in your hand. And if you take that, you're going to be destroyed, as it says in Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 and 10, in the presence of the angels and the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai on the day of the Lord. You're going to be burnt in that fire. The lake of fire, which is the nuclear missiles coming from Russia and the other nations upon Babylon, and the laser fire coming from the chariots of the Lord on the day of the Lord when Yahweh Shai comes back to claim his kingdom. So indeed, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We're to have faith that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to get us out, okay, and protect us in those days. You're going to have martial law. You're going to have purges. You're going to have famine. You're going to have death, lots of death. And so we're coming up on those days. If you haven't been watching, if you haven't been circumspect, but if you have been watching and being circumspect, then you know that we're in the last hour of the last days. So gird up your loins, get your mind ready spiritually, stay in the spirit, rehearse the righteous acts, don't go back to the old man, and get yourself prepared, you see. So let's start off with 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, and we're going to read verse 3, which is the main point of the lesson. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. You see, even though we're spirits in body, okay, we're spirits in a physical body, which these physical bodies really are prisons to us. We want to be released out of these physical bodies, and you should, have the notion to want to join Yahweh Shai on the day of the Lord as part of the elect, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites who will be saved on the day of the Lord via being beamed up into the chariots, what Esau calls UFOs. So that should be your ultimate goal in this truth, is to get the hell out of here. I hate going to work. I hate paying bills. I hate fucking, looking at fucking Esau fucking devil. You know, even 2/3 of my people get me sick, okay? I mean, I love my people. I have a love for them. That's why we do this gospel and preach this word. But 2/3 of our people, and Yahweh knew this, 2/3 of our people, the Hebrew Israelites, are not going to get this truth. So many of them are going to die before the day of the Lord, and many are going to die on that day in a lake of fire. So many of our people are not going to get it. Let's read this again, 2 Corinthians 10th chapter, 3rd verse. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. So we don't wage war as humans do. You're not going to be able to beat Esau with guns with this Hebrew defense unit. You're going to get yourself fucking killed if you get involved with that. You see, you're supposed to sit back and watch everything happen as part of the hopeful elect of Israel. You see, let everything come to pass and put your faith in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, they're spiritual, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. You see? So our weapons of warfare are spiritual, you know, and mighty through Yahweh, and of course his son Yahweh Shai, to the pulling down of strongholds. What is strongholds? Let's get a definition of that real quick. See here. This is the Hebrew translation of the word strongholds.
Strong's G 3794, Ahurama. Ahurama.
And this means a castle, stronghold, fortress, anything on which one relies. Of the arguments and reasonings by which a disputant endeavors to fortify his opinion and defend it against his opponent. Much like we have 2/3 of our people that hear this gospel, this good news of this truth of being a Hebrew Israelite and to repent and convert, all right? You know, by the prophets, the apostles, ministers, the teachers that are trying to get them to repent and convert and come back to the Lord. You have many of our people who are very hard-headed, stiff-necked, you see, so they have different reasonings and arguments and, you know, I'm black and, you know, we're Egyptian, you know, stupid arguments to speak against, you know, this true word, this gospel, this good news that the brothers are preaching throughout all the world via lessons on YouTube and other video platforms, social media platforms, also through Brothers on the Corners, all right? Brothers on the street corners preaching the gospel in the highways and hedges, primarily, mostly Great Millstone and their affiliates, okay, who have 100% truth from Elder Apostle Tahar on down. So let's go back here. You see, so the strongholds are being broken down, all right? They're being broken down. False arguments. Verse 5. Casting, let's read verse 4 again. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. Let's read verse 5. Casting down imaginations, obstacles, you know, things that people imagine, in every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Yahweh Shai. All right, so we're casting down obstacles, people imagining things, all right, people that exalt themselves against this true knowledge, this gospel, this good news, all right, and we're bringing into captivity all our thoughts to the obedience of Yahweh Shai. We believe, we have faith Yahweh Shai is coming soon and very soon. He's going to extract the elect of the Hebrew Israelites, the 1/3 elect. We say hope for elects. We hope we're part of the elect, but you know he's gonna. You know we're bringing everything into captivity, into the thought, okay, to the obedience of Yahweh Shai, that he's coming. He's going to reign. He's going to be King of Kings and Lord of Lords. We hate this place, like Yahweh Shai said, love not this world. 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 6, in having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So we're becoming obedient to this word, you see, and everybody's going to be punished who is disobedient. That's the 2/3 of our people who are not going to hearken to this word, who love this world, who think everything is, back to normal after the C-19, who thinks they're going to, live off their 401k for the next 10, 20, 30 years, who care about entertainment and birthdays and holidays and things of that nature. They love Babylon America, so to speak. Let's go to another precept. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 13. And it reads, "Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and have nothing done all to stand." And having nothing all to stand, you see? So we're to put on the whole armor of Yahweh, which is spiritual. So we'll be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. And our main enemy, of course, is Esau, the devil, the so-called white man, our adversary. All right? That's going to be our main enemy, particularly the elites of the Edomites. But they're going to use the poorer, Edomite Joe, the poorer Edomites, to do their bidding. But all this is being orchestrated by Yahweh, the Most High. All right? Like it says in Isaiah 45, chapter 45, I believe it's verse 7, I create evil and I create good. So the sole controller, the director of all this is Yahweh. He's controlling everything, you see? Let's read the NLT, Ephesians 6, verse 13, the NLT. "Therefore put on every piece of Yahweh's armor, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil." That's going to be Jacob's trouble, you see, where they're going to be coming after the Hebrew Israelites, the 2/3 and the 1/3 elect, particularly the 1/3 elect that are preaching this gospel, this truth, because they know that the time is running out. The devil knows he had but a short time, as it says in Revelation 12 and 12. He knows his time is coming short. But everything is being directed by Yahweh. He's directing the whole show to eventually bring about Yahweh Shai, World War III, of course, Babylon being burnt in the lake of fire, and Yahweh Shai taking his rulership as King of Kings and Lord of Lords, in the elect, the 1/3 elect of the Hebrew Israelites being saved on that day of destruction. Let's read this again. Ephesians 6, verse 13, the NLT. "Therefore put on every piece of Yahweh's armor, so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. Then after the battle, you will still be standing firm." You see? So your weapons of warfare are not carnal. Guns and knives and grenades are not going to help you. Okay? Only faith is going to help you. And I'm speaking to the 1/3 hopeful elect who know what time it is. Ephesians 6 and verse 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. About with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. See, striving for righteousness, walking in the spirit, putting off the old man, rehearsing the righteous acts, being spiritually minded is going to save you, on the day of the Lord. Or if you die before that day, you die in the faith of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you're going to be lifted up and beamed up out of the grave and meet those who are here that are part of the elect on the day of the Lord in the sky and be beamed up into the chariots. You see, so put on the breastplate of righteousness. That's going to save you. You see, so during those times in Jacob's trouble, it's going to be a lot of death. Like I said, the martial law, you're going to have the armies coming, the UN troops here, and many of them are already here right now, the UN troops, ready to get the signal for when chaos breaks out, you see, and people start falling like dung on the street, start dying. You already see it now, people going into cardiac arrest for being part of that juice crew, during the C-19. They're trying to keep it under wraps, but it's going to happen more and more and more. You're going to see millions falling dead, you see? So during that time, you're going to have to depend on Yahweh, all right? He's going to protect you. He's going to keep you hid during those times of evil. Let's read this again, Ephesians 6 and verse 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Verse 15. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. All right? So being prepared with the good news. All right? This is the good news, the gospel, that Yahweh Shai is coming back to bring everything back in the righteousness. All right? To be King of kings and Lord of lords. And wickedness is going to be abolished. The Edomites are going to be put in slavery. The other nations are going to be put in slavery. You see, the Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs, the Moabites, so-called Chinese, the Hamites, all right, so-called Africans, they're going to be under the Israelites. Now, the Edomites are going to get it the worst because they did the worst to us, all right, to the Hebrew Israelites. So they're going to get it the worst. They're going to be put in slavery after 1,000 years. They're going to be abolished, as it speaks about in Obadiah. But that's another lesson for another time. So Ephesians 6 and verse 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. You see, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It's based on faith, the shield of faith. And as we know, faith in Hebrews 11, chapter 1, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So we have hope that Yahweh Shai is coming, okay, in that big spaceship, all right? We have hope he's coming to be King of kings and Lord of lords, all right? And we have hope and faith that he did die for our sins, the nation of Israel. He got the victory over death so that we can have an opportunity to have the victory over death. We have faith that he'll be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And the wicked is the devil, the wicked. You know, our people can be wicked, the Hebrew Israelites, but the wicked is the devil, the serpent. All right? So-called white man, okay, our adversary, that's the wicked. So during those times, we're going to have faith that we'll be able to quench all those fiery darts of the wicked. Now, some of us will be executed. Some of us will be beheaded. Some of us will be put in prison. All right? But we got to have faith that we're going to be saved out of it, whether it's by angels, whether the animals help us out, whatever it is, we got to have faith that some way, somehow, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to get us out of the mess that's going to be coming on the planet Earth very soon. Ephesians 6 and verse 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. And we know the word was Yahweh Shai, okay? The word was made flesh. The word is Yahweh Shai. He comes in the volume of the book. This whole book is about Yahweh Shai. So put on the salvation, the helmet of salvation, and take the sword of the Spirit, the Rakak Wadash, okay, which is the word, and the word is Yahweh Shai of Yahweh, all right? So this spirit, you got to be spiritually minded. To be spiritually minded is life and peace. To be carnal minded is death. Let's read this again. Ephesians 6 and verse 17. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Let's read verse 18. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. You know, so like it says in the 2 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, the 17th verse, pray without ceasing. In watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Okay? Let's read Ephesians 6 and verse 18, the NLT version. Pray in the Spirit at all times and on every occasion. You see, pray without ceasing. Stay alert and be persistent in your prayers for all believers everywhere. So you got to stay prayed up, not only for yourself, but you're also praying for your fellow brothers and sisters that are in this truth, all right? That are the believers everywhere. You're praying for them to endure and to get out of this mess. So when I pray, I indeed pray for the 1/3 hope for elect, that we will endure, and be patient, all right? And patience means long suffering, and, that we'll be ready for when these times come upon us, which are going to be coming upon us very soon. You see, and the 2/3 of our people who haven't been praying, who haven't been building up their faith, they're going to be shocked. They're going to be in a state of shock. But those of us that have been watching and being circumspect, looking around, understanding what's going on in the news, that are in the Holy Spirit, okay, the Holy Spirit's on us, the Ruach Kodesh, we're going to be ready for these times that are going to be coming. It's going to be rough. You're going to have famine. You're going to have the stores being raided, no food, no water, blackouts, purges, all types of things are going to be happening. Pure chaos. People dropping dead left and right. So get your mind ready. Be persistent in your prayers and ready. All right? So let's continue. Let's get a couple more scriptures. Hebrews 11. And this will deal with faith. Give you an example of faith. Hebrews, a couple of examples. Hebrews 11 in verse 24. And as we know, like I said, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11 and 1. And Yahweh, all through the Old Testament, you see, there's examples of faith and Yahweh getting us out of messes. Those of us who have faith, the Hebrew Israelites. Let's get a couple of examples. Hebrews 11 and verse 24. This is dealing with Moses. Okay? And it reads as such. Hebrews 11 and 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, when he got older, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And as you know, Moses, his parents put him on the water, the Nile River, and he was in a basket because I believe that if the story goes that Pharaoh was trying to kill the firstborn, okay, of the Hebrew Israelites, okay, during that time. He was trying to kill the firstborn sons. Isn't that ironic that also happened during Yahushua time? Herod was trying to kill the firstborn, okay, of all the sons of the Hebrew Israelites during that time because he heard that Yahushua, the Redeemer, all right, was going to be born, you see? So he did the same thing there. So there's nothing new under the sun. So let's read this again. Hebrews 11 and 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter because Pharaoh's daughter found him on the river in the basket. You see? Hebrews 11 and verse 25. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Yahweh, and they were his people, as he found out, than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. So Moses chose to suffer with his own people, the people of Yahweh, okay? That lets you know right there, the people of Yahweh are the Hebrew Israelites. So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. That lets you know right there, the people of Yahweh. Then to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. So you got to put it all on the line here. You know what I'm saying? This is the end. You got to put everything on the line. We're in the 9th inning, you see? So if you want to enjoy the pleasures of sin and keep sinning, keep being wicked, celebrating holidays, eating pork, smoking weed, and all those type of things, you're going to be destroyed on the day of the Lord. Maybe before that, you'll be judged, you see? So you got to, bear affliction with the people of Yahweh instead of enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. So if you take that MOTB to try to save your life, okay, that CHIP, to save your life and to feed yourself, okay, and say, oh, I'm going to be all right. They're going to give us some money every month to take care of us. We're going to eat. Then you're going to die, okay? Because that's like the ultimate sin. It's taking that MOTB. Hebrews 11 and verse 26. Esteeming the reproach of Yahushua greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. So let you know right here, Moses, okay, obviously he knew that he had a mission and he was a forerunner to Yahushua. It says here, he didn't want to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Okay, let's read Hebrews 11 and verse 26 to NLT. He thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Yahushua than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. Isn't that deep? That's very deep. And that lets you know about reincarnation. Because indeed, Moses, if you have the spirit, okay, to hear and understand, Moses was King David, you see? And as we know, King David had a son who was named Solomon, all right? And in his previous incarnation, Yahushua was Solomon. So there's nothing new under the sun, all right? So he was looking forward to his great reward, you see, which is going to be the victory over death that Yahushua got when he died on the cross, was resurrected. He's on the right-hand side of the Father at the moment, okay? He got the victory over death. So he's perfect. He was perfect here on earth, but now he's perfected sitting on the right-hand side of the Father. He had to sacrifice himself to allow us to come into that perfection. As the 1/3 elect on this side first, you see, as the 1/3 elect on this side who are going to be beamed up into the chariots, and then the 2/3 of our people that don't make it, they'll be born through the loins of the 1/3 as babies in the kingdom, as their children. So indeed, Yahushua did sacrifice himself for all of Israel, but it's going to come in stages. So it says he was looking ahead. Moses was looking ahead to his great reward. That's the great reward we're to be looking forward to, you see? Hebrews 11 and verse 27. By faith, he forsake Egypt, like we got to forsake the modern day Egypt, okay? This is like Egypt because we've been taken back into captivity, like in Egypt, okay? America is akin to Egypt because we're in captivity. You're not free. You're under the captivity of the Edomites, you see? So you have to forsake Egypt or Babylon, modern day Babylon, America. You have to forsake it, you see? Forsake the money, forsake the materialism, forsake your 401k, forsake, trying to buy real estate and fit in. You're in captivity. Babylon's going to be destroyed. Let's read this again. By faith he forsake Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king. So you can't fear Esau and the Edomites. You're to fear Yahushua and fear what he would do to you. Okay? Not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. You see? So he feared Yahweh who is invisible. All right? Let's read this Hebrews 11:27, the NLT, on the right-hand side. It was by faith that Moses left the land of Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He kept right on going because he kept his eyes on the one who was invisible. You see, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Keep your eyes on the prize, on the one who is invisible, on getting out of here. Fear him. Hebrews 11, verse 28. Through faith, he kept the Passover in the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch him. All right? Hebrews 11:28, the NLT version. It was by faith that Moses commanded the people of Israel to keep the Passover and to sprinkle blood on the doorpost so that the angel of death, and the angel of death was Yahushua. All right? Just like he's going to be the angel of death that's going to come on the scene in the day of the Lord. You see? So nothing is new under the sun. So when Moses sprinkled the blood on the doorpost of the Hebrew Israelites, death did not come to their firstborn, but it came to all the Egyptians. Their firstborn died, you see? But it passed over us through the sprinkling of the blood. He killed the lamb and sprinkled the blood on the doorpost, and the angel of death bypassed the Hebrew Israelites, okay, who had the blood on their doorpost. All right? Let's read this again. Hebrews 11:28. It was by faith that Moses commanded the people of Israel to keep the Passover and to sprinkle blood on the doorpost so that the angel of death would not kill their firstborn sons. So the angel of death was Yahushua, and he's coming back on the day of the Lord in a big old gigantic fathership, all right, to bring fire on the earth. That's going to be via nuclear missiles coming from Russia and the other nations, as well as laser fire coming from the chariots. And if you're not linked in with him, okay, if you're not part of the 1/3 elect, all right, you're not going to get a Passover. You're going to be burnt in that fire, all right, as the 2/3 who didn't hearken to this word, you see? So this is akin to us being saved again on the day of the Lord. It's going to be even bigger than during that time in Egypt. Hebrews 11 and verse 29. By faith, they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. So it goes back to the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We got to have faith, okay? Like the Israelites had faith, okay? The Israelites had faith that Yahweh was going to save them from the Egyptians. And what did he do? He split the Red Sea, allowed the Hebrew Israelites to go by. When the Egyptians came, they were all drowned. He brought the water back down. So you have to have faith that in these last days, Jacob's trouble, okay, the hard times to come, that we're going to be saved out of this mess. And the main salvation is going to come in the form of the chariots of the Lord beaming up the 1/3 elect of Israel into those chariots. Hebrews 11 and verse 30. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. That's talking about Joshua and the Israelites who made it into Israel, into Jerusalem, and they went around the walls of Jericho, okay, praying, hailing the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's letting you know how powerful that name was. But they were hailing the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and after 7 days, the walls came down. You see? They came crashing down from the power of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So this is a thing that's spiritual, not carnal. Hebrews 11, and I think that might be the last one. Let's see here. Yes, that is. So on that note, I hope this lesson was edifying to you, and I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Shalom.